Hi, my name is Regis Rossi Alves Faria, and I'm going to present the paper A Diasporic Sound Immersion Experience on Board a Slave Ship. This work presents the virtual reality story called Diasporicas. Diasporicas is an immersive audiovisual experience. Our focus in this presentation is on the making of this audiovisual piece, on the aesthetical strategies we use it to engage the spectator, and to present the technology developed to produce the 3D sound. The story of Diasporicas is about 4 black women and 1 white woman in the hold of a slave ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They form a stage play where they express and share their emotions from the traumatic experience of forced displacement from their countries of origins, what is called the diaspora, to the Brazil of the slave times. There are 5 characters in the film: the elderly slave, the African immigrant, the Portuguese immigrant, the young free African girl, and the transgender immigrant. Let's talk a bit about the filmmaking. The scenographic area was a circular spot about 5 meters by 5 meters. The scene was divided into 4 quadrants, and the recording used a 360 degrees camera and lavalier microphones together with the characters. We also used an ambisonics recorder coupled to the camera. A total of 9 sound objects were recorded and produced in the studio, and they were imported then into the 3D sound program for post-production. In the beginning, the Portuguese immigrant and the African immigrant entered the scene together with the elderly slave. The right side shows the motion of the sound objects in the scene.
Não quero nem saber. Esse tempo aqui, toda a minha vida.
About the aesthetics strategies for user engagement, we used several artifices for that. The 4 main artifices we used were: first, the displacement of the listener. In the beginning of the film, the listener is displaced from the center. At a time in the middle of the film, he is invited to go to the center. It somehow anticipates a 6 degrees of freedom. The second artifice was the young free girl appearing surround the listener when she comes into the film. You see in this part the free African girl coming into the scene. She talks to the listener, she walks around the spectator, and finally, she invites the spectator to be part of the scene. The listener then moves to the center of the scene.
Você não sente, né? Você não sente esse calor impregnando, sufocando? Nossa, que calor!
The third artifice was employing a distant sea sound. The sounds of the sea were placed far from the center of the scene in a way that it's almost a constant and subliminal presence. The fourth artifice was to have the actresses in a quadrangular position surrounding the listener. The producing technology. To attain the objectives of the film, we employed a non-developed technology, the Audience S3P, Spatial Sound Scene Producer. The S3P is a module for producing 3D sound scenes in the Audience Spatial Audio software that we developed at the Laboratory of Audio and Music Technologies at the University of São Paulo. This is developed in the Peer Data Environment, the PD. The Audience S3P module main interface has several blocks as you can see there. We find a central block here, which is the sound scene graphical user interface. And we have blocks for the creation and for the control of each object in the scene. These blocks permit us to create trajectories and control them to animate the sound objects in the scene. At the left side, you can see the scenographic area with metric indications, and at the right side, the scene control interface, showing the sound objects that are performing in the scene and the listener at the center. We also have blocks for transport. We have blocks for volume calibration, loudness calibration, and we also have a block for mixing, playing back, and simultaneous exporting in multiple output formats such as ambisonics and stereo. Our findings. As an immersive audiovisual content case study, Diasporicus is an effective cultural and historical recreation done by the inner side, where the spectator is engaged into the experience. The spectators can choose whom and where to direct their attention. Actually, this acts like we have several stories, multiple stories simultaneous, which is typical of 3D single sequences like Diasporicus. We found that the emotions such as excitement, admiration, disturbance, sadness, and surprise were reported among the users in preliminary assessment. And we found that for precise localization of the sound, better employing lavalier microphones recordings. The ambisonic recording was useful for calibration. Our conclusions. Diasporicus sound is conceived and produced for the 3D media from the beginning, and it is best experienced using VR displays gadgets with good quality earphones. A new version of Diasporicus is being prepared for public release forthcoming. Our future works. We intend a more comprehensive assessment of the user's experience reports to collect their emotions and characterize them, and to interpret their reaction. We intend to do that in a future study. Thank you. For more information, please get the link in the QR code. Bye-bye.